Yo, what's good? What's happening? We back, brand new episode of Threes from the Ring. This your boy Chris J. Glad to be back. Got the boy Trust Saff here.
I forgot I'm muting myself. You heard?
Tyler. What y'all muting yourselves for? Tyler.
I'm muting myself because I don't want background. My neighbors be going crazy up there.
Oh, your back. I don't hear nothing in your background. And we got Tyler here. I don't know if he realized he muted himself.
Yeah, y'all hear me?
Barely. You sound low as hell, man. Yeah. Let's talk now because I just edited your thing.
What about now?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay.
Yeah, but we all here. We'll been a minute, but blessed to be here. Blessed to give you guys that content that you guys enjoy from us. And with matter of fact, we're just gonna get right into it with wrestling. Fair amount of things has happened. Elimination Chamber per happened. Which led to a fair amount of things. We're getting storylines, and we're pretty much 3 weeks away from Mania now, Tyler. I want to say
Mania is April 6th and 7th, I believe. So that's about 4, more like 4.
Yeah, like 4 weeks. So yeah, we're literally a month away from
about a month.
Probably less than a month away from Mania. So we're well into things. The card is slowly figuring itself out. We're pretty much getting an idea of who's going to be part of it, and also as things just slowly start building up for other people to their way of getting onto the Mania card. With that said, we're going to really just focus on a couple of things that's already been set in a manner. Like we got Bayley and Io in the road to that match going on, where Bayley's pretty much getting jumped by Japanese girls in Dakota on a weekly basis, and Dakota did her eventual turning on Bayley, which we didn't see that coming. Now we're on the chapter of who's going to help Bayley, and we got to tease this past week on SmackDown, where Naomi pretty much had a conversation with Bianca and said, hey, look, she needs help. And Bianca nah, you wasn't here. She was an op. She had this coming. So shout out to that black moment in wrestling with that. But overall, where you guys' thoughts on how they're building up this feud right
now? I think they're doing a pretty good job so far. People are complaining about her lack of advertisement, which did seem weird at first, but I feel like it's being purposely done for a longer telling story for Bayley in some way. I don't feel like they're just purposely okay, we're just not going to put the Women's Royal Rumble winner in any advertisement or barely acknowledge the fact that she won it. But I think overall I'm liking how the story is progressing so far. It does make sense, that nobody wants to help Bayley. She's put this group together for the last 2.5, 3 years, and been getting involved in other people's matches and screwing other folks out of opportunities, and that is coming back on her. Even though she's in a good position to, truly be that, be a star, bigger star in the women's division again, with the belt. But, you can't get mad at the fact that you have no help. So it makes sense. But from a fan perspective, you see the sympathy because of the way they've treated her leading up to their turn on her. So I'm liking it so far. It's a storyline that makes sense. And I'm curious to see who will end up eventually helping Bayley,
Trail.
I agree, especially when you said it's a storyline that makes sense. I agree on that. I just wish it was more. Like, I think a lot of the stuff is, and we didn't talk about it later, but I think a lot of the stuff is just like gung ho on Rock and this Mania instead of like some of the other matches that's featured. Because there's a lot of things that we can do to lead up to make this a really good road too. And so many people are, I think, and I hate the president that said that, like, if you don't main event a WrestleMania, I really hate. It's like a love-hate thing with like how CM Punk started that movement. Like, hey, you have to main event Mania, and then people, especially the Four Horsewomen crowd, how all of them, you know, main event in a Mania or about the main event in a Mania or something like that, and it creates like a situation as if they don't put Bayley in the same light as the rest, which I think is kind of false, but that narrative runs. Now, I would like to see them main event Mania, but like as old as like time, politics will run on wrestling, and unfortunately, I don't think The Rock backstage politicking, but I do think, you know, a lot of stuff is going to be featured around him. Now, I think a good thing that they have been doing on the side of storytelling is righting some of the wrongs, and doing good, like making that story make sense towards the end. When something that's, I think, always been WWE motto, and you know, you got to let it play out crowd and stuff like that. Now, with the Bayley in that situation, I honestly don't think like it's a grander story with her not being featured on stuff. I just think they put the people who make the most money featured on things. Especially like, that's why Bianca's on everything, because Bianca is so well loved. It's kind of like how it'd be like Taker not even advertised for a match at a SummerSlam, but you'll see folks in that cloak there, like just because people are going to walk in just to see Undertaker and stuff like that. Or and it will be the same way if Bianca starts to fade back and Jade becomes a big star like everybody believes she's going to be. She's just going to be posted on things. Charlotte has that same thing too, when they just posted on things. Becky, and that's just because of like, I guess you look at like advertisements and shirt sales and stuff like that for the women, and who does a lot, and I don't think Bayley is much of a less star than any of them. I just think when they do like banners and posters and stuff like that, I think they hit a lot of things. And like, say for instance, if Io and Asuka's on that poster, you know, they're not just trying to have every white woman in the company on the poster. You know what I mean? So they're gonna put Io and Asuka on there. Or if like the Royal Rumble poster, I don't know why the heck she went on there. There's no excuse for that one. But that's why I see like it's it can play into a story, but I don't think that's like, I just think whoever behind the advertisement just be like, Bianca makes money, put Bianca on that and stuff like that. But like I said, I think that story is doing a good job in portraying Bayley as a sympathy face. And with wrestling being so predictable, I think they're trying to go the route of Bayley might not just win this, instead of, okay, Bayley won the Royal Rumble, Bayley wins the match. I think they're going for like, Bayley has to overcome the odds. And it's harder to do when something like that people been like, okay, Bayley has to win the Royal Rumble, she has to beat Io at Mania. People been doing that forever. So it's kind of hard seeing that now that she got to overcome the odds and stuff, because we know she's going to win and have her Mania moment. But it's kind of like, I kind of think they kind of want to go for a similar story with both Royal Rumble members. It's just like both of those stories are like getting sidelined by different things. But again, I think Bayley is being a tremendous character actor right now, in that at the end of her
interview.
At the end, no, just at the end of the story. I'm trying to say is that it's going to come together, and I don't know how her reign is going to be because she has so many people in line. But I know that her moment at Mania is going to shine. Now, I do also hate that she's not main event as well, but you know, it'd be like that sometimes, and we don't know if Rock and Roman and Seth and them is main event, but we know, like, you know, I don't think Rock is warming up the stadium for fucking Gunther or anybody coming on after him. So, you know what I'm saying? It be like that sometimes, unfortunately.
It really do. It would make sense, at least for the 3 other niggas in that match, but Rock ain't going first, middle, fourth for no man with The Rock. So, but let's just go ahead and transition to that shenanigans right now. So, in the past 2-3 weeks, The Rock has made himself more and more prevalent in terms of just promoting this the Bloodline versus Cody thing. One, making Cody really gonna come out of this the greatest, biggest babyface ever at this point, where this is looking. But on top of it, The Rock is literally putting in the work, but also maybe it's just me, but a lot of it does make him look old as well. And it's just my personal opinion. He just comes off old in a lot of these promos he's been cutting. But just this past week was probably the best mix of The Rock getting a feel for things overall, because the past 3 weeks it was just like, all right, man, you're still trying to figure out how you want this 2024 Rock heel character to be. And I think this past week was the best in terms of just overall persona, his outfit, because the fits has been disgusting. But because last week he had on boot cuts, this week he actually had on straight taper fit jeans with the vest. Look, it makes sense. So he's starting to get a feel for it overall. Overall though, I'm just wish there was more Cody and Roman, and I'm pretty sure I'm like feeling like many other people where, hey, I get we got to promote the biggest tag team match in WrestleMania history, yet at the same time we have to legit promote the night 2 main event here at the end of the day here as well. Like, I want to hear Roman drop bars on Cody and vice versa. And I hope now that Cody finally slapped the shit out of The Rock, we can get to there now. Just my personal opinion, but you guys' thoughts on The Rock and the Bloodline drama cinema that we're in now.
I agree with the whole. I feel like Roman took a back seat, and that was the fear of Rock being in this moment. And I think, but it so plays as if it's The Rock versus Cody, other than Rock versus Roman. I mean, Roman versus Cody. It feel like it's The Rock versus Cody right now. And also, it barely. It's supposed to be the Bloodline versus Cody, and then we get the Cody Avengers at like Mania, and it's gonna be probably the most overbooked Mania main event of all time. Yeah. But that's what we're probably gonna get. Now, in terms of like the Rock, it works for what he does. Like, especially the first promo he did, the crackheads and stuff like that. Cool. I honestly think though Like they have a real like timing problem with the
Huge
freaking
timing problem.
interesting, bro. Like hustle to the ring, dog. Like it makes no sense. Like everybody, like Roman has had this Undertaker-esque entrance stuff, and 10 minutes of him coming to the ring is his freaking entrance, bro. Or just standing there. And I understand you want this final boss moment, but like the time, bro. That show is getting cut off early, and y'all are still talking. Like I don't think there's like a time.
That was a bad look overall. That was a really poor.
Especially this past Friday.
It was extremely bad. Also, when they opened the show, they had to like be up and out. Look, care less about what people say about like match time and stuff like that. But then again, you are taking moments from other people wanting to show their characters off. Because you do this 80-minute promo of just, standing there and reveling in a freaking crowd. And then other people also has to build their Mania moment as well. So, like, that's why I'm kind of like this is kind of like, let's make this, somehow break this apart. What Roman's not even advertised for the next SmackDown. So it's even going to seem more of a Rock versus Cody situation. Seth barely freaking acknowledges Drew. And I think that's their story. Like, Drew was like, you worried about them Samoans, you need to worry about this kilt. So, that's what I see. But, like, even with that, I think too much time is given into this build. I think way too much time. I don't think The Rock is washed like a lot of people think, but I also think like The Rock is good as he was back then. Like that still ain't the same. Like it's a reason we don't want to see The Rock in a match. I'm surprised he haven't got more flack. Well, because he haven't said anything wild in his promos. And I'm surprised he grew up as a person and not say something wild in his promos. But like people don't remember like this wrestling stuff. You have to like really be at it. Some people got a gift, but you have to really be at it. That nigga, like The Rock, when he came back for his match with Cena was cooking this nigga.
Yo,
boy.
Cena was barring that man to hell.
Cena was cooking that nigga, boy. It wasn't no back and forth. The only thing Rock got off on that promos was the Fruity Pebble t-shirts.
Yeah.
That's it. But other than that, Cena got a bag for it. But other than that, like, Cena was smoking this nigga. One, Cena smoked anybody he goes against. I was watching this TikTok where he was bodying over the ether beat. But The Rock, for the amazing promo he is, like Cody and Seth Cody's a good promo because he know how to bring emotion in it. And sometimes Seth sound like he's whining, but they smoking them. When they smoking the blood, it just make. This is what I feared from the Bloodline story. It makes it feel like it's wearing thin, and they're just coming up with more and more stuff. And God forbid Roman retains at Mania, and that is a real threat to democracy at that point. Again, I don't care if Rock turns face. He is going to get booed if Cody don't get this title and Roman retains. I can care less about, it's F. Hulk Hogan throughout his whole entire career. Respect to Big Bruno. I don't give a crap if Roman beats those records, bro. It means nothing to anybody. Wrestling records, if it ain't Ric Flair's title record, it's low-key kind of garbage. You know what I mean? Because all you gotta do is slip up and say one slur, and they will have somebody beat that record in 1 year. So, like, it's not a I think
it's not as important as they trying to make it out to be.
it's more of like Hogan won. I mean, Hogan got that record because of politicking and how much he was loved by the fans. Bruno Sammartino got that record because people was watching goddamn wrestling through word of mouth. Like, so there's no like reason for those long of a title reigns. I think Triple H has a problem with that. I don't want to see hot potato on the titles either, but that dude has a real big problem with, like, he did it in NXT Gold. Like, Adam Cole title reign was obnoxiously long.
And then it got hot potato back and forth. Then it got longer again.
Yeah, hot potato back and forth, and then and so like, especially like Asuka's title reign was long to the point that she ran through NXT and nobody was able to beat her, and she is still undefeated in NXT till this day.
She has made 3 visits to NXT, I think, since she's been on the main roster, and then
still ain't got beat.
Except with her body that comes around with that black and gold, bro. But like, that's like, I think that's Triple H's problem. But to end my semi rant on this storyline, I think the story it's a jump the shark moment like the Bloodline stuff was a couple weeks back. I mean, a couple storylines back.
With the Jay versus Roman SummerSlam.
Which, we can attest that to like Vince still having his hands around and stuff like that. But now Triple H got to do something. Like, Roman is guaranteed part-time now. After Mania, we don't see that nigga at all. And we have to have a title on that show. Especially when y'all moving to USA.
Yep.
Like, you think USA did that before with like the Bronx? That's why they split the title. They was like, dog, we not about to be here in Brock. Like, put a title on somebody. Brock Lesnar don't even be here.
Nope.
But I don't know why we fixate on you get the belt, you sign your new contract, and now you only got 5 dates. It makes no sense to me. And then Brock Lesnar comes and hold one of those titles hostages till Mania or SummerSlam or something like that. It is a weird concept how they do that title. But it always seems like once we get 2 full-time champions, Brock Lesnar come and say we shouldn't have 2 full-time champions. And I'm glad now that goddamn piss merchant is not around anymore.
For now, people are saying that he's
back on
the internal roster page, so we're on Brock watch, possibly. But I still get your point, though. Like,
go ahead,
I agree with what both of you guys said. I see, both sides of the conversation. I do appreciate the fact that, Rock coming back, because we honestly we weren't expecting him to be here as much as he is right now. Like, we was already saying, he might not even be. He might be here twice before Mania, and that's about it. He's been here every week since that.
He's scheduled for the whole
that press event, which is cool. I appreciate that, because I think that's him recognizing, like, hey, since we kind of are pulling an audible here, we might as well give them give them their money's worth, leading up into the match and everything. But I do also agree with the fact that they kind of are. I don't want to use the word hijacking, but they kind of are. They, like you said, it's the timing and the executing of how they're doing it. It's like they're spending too much time on one specific part. Like you said, there's other stories that's being built. WrestleMania isn't just one story. This might be the double main event or whatever. But excuse me. But it's other stories that are unfolding. Like, we still like this. They got to speed it up with the Jimmy versus Jay thing. We know that's coming. So it don't need to necessarily be a slow burn. Jay needs to start popping up back on SmackDown eventually, to get his leg back so they could set up the match or whatever. Then, like you said, with the Drew and Seth situation. Now, I think part of the Drew and Seth situation is possibly intentional, just to kind of be like, oh, Seth is too worried about this side and he needs to be worried about defending his belt. He just got cleared. He needs to be focused on getting himself together, or, the title's going to slip away from him at Mania, whether there's some type of interference or not. Because honestly, Drew don't need the interference. Drew could beat him.
The way you've been building him up, he is one of the few people, or the couple of people, to pin Cody since he's been back.
It's only been him and Roman.
Finish. Him, Roman, and Brock. Didn't Brock get one over Cody?
I think Brock made him tap, but he didn't pin him.
But yeah, either way, one of the few people to get a fall on Cody.
But they purposely didn't bring that up because they purposely said two people. So, for obvious reasons, they didn't bring him up. But
yeah,
nonetheless, I do agree with what you said, Trell, about, Roman kind of taking a back seat. I do think part of that is part of this whole further in the bloodline story too. Like, Roman's going to eventually be like, hey, man, I was here. I've been here. I've been carrying it, eventually. But, yeah, they gotta execute this a lot better. I think it hasn't been terrible, but like this last week or so, like I forgot that one time where they all showed up at the beginning of the show. They spent like 40 minutes just talking, bro. The first 40 minutes of the show just talking. It's like, and it wasn't really. We saw where it ended up at the end, but it was like, dang, where is this going? It's like you just kind of aimlessly talking. And I like how he does like his promos, before the show on his Instagram and stuff like that to, further, give it some press. But again, they just got to execute it a lot better. I do. Like I said, I appreciate Rock being here and being more active in the event. But beyond that, they just this is still Cody versus Roman. That's the story. Cody Roman. We want to see Cody get his moment.
Pretty much. And that's where I hope eventually the path gets kind of narrowed down to, now that at least the world's greatest, the greatest WrestleMania tag team match is ever going to take place now. Can we just kind of get it centered back onto their matches at the end of the day? Because look, Rock going to be the Rock at this point. And we need more Jay and Jimmy interactions. I think I read that John Cena plans to be at Mania, so we're about to see where that goes.
He says he's free that weekend, so
yeah, so he might fight solo. I don't know. And then other matches as well. I feel like everything else is starting to come together. Like, I think at this point, Logan Paul is going to be Logan Paul versus Randy and KO in a triple threat match, which will be fun. About to probably get. We're still trying to figure out who Gunther gonna fight. Like, at this point, we still don't know what the hell Gunther got. His booking.
Who wins on Monday? They got this a gauntlet match, I believe. On
like Chad Gable again.
I'm good on it, at least for Mania, but we get it. Piss boy had to be nasty. He just couldn't control his urges. So
I don't see why they don't just go with Sammy though. Sammy makes the most sense.
It do, and also you kind of do need to have Sammy on the card. But even then, like, things are slowly coming together. We're starting to see more things, and we'll see where things go. And also, it's looking like they might be separating the tag titles. It's too early to tell, but it's looking closer and closer that we're getting to that point. But
I think he did say they have an announcement coming up tomorrow, so
we will see. Because look, it's time. It is time. Like, you have, you got what you call it though. Karrion Kross's gang and Bobby Lashley and them niggas just battling each other because it's whites versus blacks. Come on, man. We need something for it. We need some stakes.
Yeah, it's too many teams, too many stables without those those belts to spread the wealth. They gotta speed that up immediately.
Pretty much. But let's go ahead and move on to AEW because they have done some things. Revolution was last Sunday actually, and solid pay-per-view, of course, can be mad. Solid pay-per-view. And before that, Okada debuted. No, he debuted this week. Okay. Ospreay debuted at that pay-per-view. Had a decent match. Pretty much things happened on that card. Nothing spectacular, but everybody was talking about Ospreay's match. And
they went crazy.
You told us spectacular. That was Sting whole retirement pay-per-views.
Oh, forgot. See what happens. But Sting,
I could care less about Ospreay matches, but that whole pay-per-view was dedicated to Sting, and they gave that nigga a really good farewells. Tony Khan did a fantastic job on keeping Sting, like the legend that he is. So.
Yeah, I thought that was definitely cool.
No, yeah, that was my fault for getting that part. But Sting's retirement match was in there. I do apologize. Which I have really no complaints besides rail glass being used. So I'm pretty sure CM Punk was triggered. Either way, perfect way to let Sting go off. Respect to his sons. Honoring Sting as well, being in two of his most notable images, of course, the Wolfpack Sting and
they call like Super Surfer Sting, I guess.
Yeah, whatever the hell that version of Sting wants to call himself as, but that's Sting. So overall, it was really dope. Shout out to Sting for having a very memorable match, changing the narrative that you got to eat the pin in your retirement matches. I'm glad that didn't happen. So respect.
Yeah.
Especially to the Young Bucks. They don't deserve to have that under their belt.
It's really if he was to eat the pin to anybody in that company, I couldn't choose him.
I wouldn't use them. Definitely wouldn't be them. Yeah. Either way, shout out to that. And
but the Ospreay and what's his name? Takeshita match, that was actually a pretty good match. I actually sat and watched that for a minute.
Yeah, shout out to all the no selling of moves and stuff like
that. Lots of no selling. It looked like if all of us played a WWE 2K24 match and we had unlimited counters going on, or unlimited what you'll call it, automatic get ups. I forgot what it was called. Since I played damn wrestling game. But with that said, that's just how that match looked. And it was, hey, that's what y'all like, man. Y'all get in New Japan style matches here in America. Gee. That's all it is. Y'all don't gotta stay up till 3 a.m. Shout out to y'all. Then moving on, Okada debuts this past Wednesday on Dynamite and with the Young Bucks. So he's with their EVP faction, pretty much. They fired Omega and somebody else, and they suspended Hangman.
Who cares? Proceeded, and with that, Okada debuts. Okada is with his homies. It makes sense. His English isn't the best, no offense. So it makes sense, and he'd be on a prominent role on TV in that manner. Plus, he's their new big boss, in a sense. So I respect it, which will lead to Okada versus Omega soon. So we'll see where that goes. Either way, I'm looking forward to where things go. Okada is comfortable. Same with Ospreay. He's comfortable. And plus, supposedly, if he's getting the money that he's getting, I'm not mad. Yeah. I'm not mad at it at all. To be comfortable, I take all $13-15 million he got. So
that was niggas confirming that money. It wasn't not as much as he was.
Okay.
That much.
All right.
They said he probably in like the But it's still good money, but he probably like a $3-4 million range.
Oh, because I was about to say, hey, look, Tony Khan handed out better contracts than his dad do to the Jaguars players, G. So, but I really wonder how that's going to change once Trevor Lawrence's contract comes up. So, either way, shout out to them. They're doing stuff, and then we'll get Mercedes Moné this week, actually.
Yeah, it's looking like it, even though she probably already ruffled them stand shutters. Yeah, we get
she tweaked. She tweaked. Yeah, and the reason why we're saying that, if you don't know, she said in an interview with some black dude that she does hope to go back one day to WWE. And of course, that led to people saying, why would she say that? Especially when Tony Khan is giving her a Dynamite special based on her and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I get that you guys are mad and upset, but guess what? The game is the game. And just like everybody, they all come back. The only person who may never, ever come back to the WWE after getting the boot from the WWE is a man who created it at this point. He's the only one who can never come back. So everybody does come back. Everybody has a price. Everybody's heart is always to go back. So either way, we'll see where things go. But AEW has their three new big faces, and I'm curious to see where things go. I'm hoping it does fill up arenas. I just hope overall that they take advantage of it. Things are on the up, and also, please don't get swerved that goddamn belt. That's all. Anything y'all want to add? Tyler, anything you want to add before we wrap this up to go to NBA?
No. That's pretty much it for wrestling.
All right, cool. But if you guys are listening, stay tuned. We're going to be transitioning over to the NBA portion of the pod. If you are watching, of course, we greatly appreciate you. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the YouTube channel, Tweeking Media. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at 3S from the Ring as well. Greatly appreciate all the support as well. So just please stand by. And also, if you are a wrestling fan that loves to talk hoops or listen to Hoop Talk, click on to the next video as we get ready to talk about the NBA. A lot has going on as we enter the road to the playoffs. So with that said, peace or